to another Two Drunk Flings video brought to you by me, Mini-Modelog Joe. And basically this week I'm going to look at an old team from the GW range. One that's been out since 2016 roughly, so it's a little old. But I thought I'd take a look and give you my thoughts on it, also show you what was in the box just in case you were thinking of getting them. And that is the Dwarf Giants. These actually belong to a friend of mine who's lent me them. Because I was saying to him, oh, I've not done the older teams, the pre-spike days as I like to call them. And I kind of said I wouldn't mind doing them. So he said, oh, I've got the Dwarf Giants. I haven't put them together yet or unboxed them or anything. Here. So here we are. We've got the Dwarf Giants. Inside the box you get 2 Troll Slayers, 6 linemen, 2 blitzers and 2 runners. Now that's kind of a standard setup for a dwarf team. So what's good about the dwarves? Well, they're a great team to play. Easy for a starting coach, not necessarily easy to master because a lot of them come with block skill, which is a great skill to have from the off. The thing, their major kind of weakness, I'd say, is that they're slow. They're not as fast as some teams. So if you're playing against elves or Skaven, for example, you find that they will dash round a dwarf team quite easily. So if you're going to play them in a league, be wary of your faster teams. But against your humans and your orcs and that kind of thing, the dwarves are not half bad as a starting point for a brand new rookie coach. So like I say, you get 2 Troll Slayers, 2 Blitzers, 2 Runners and 6 Linemen, as well as what looks like 6 balls, 2 of the double-sided coins and 2 of the turn and re-roll counters. In this case, they're holding a kind of beer stern, which is really cool. Obviously, the paint that they've decided to go for, the scheme, is a blue colour, like a stony blue colour. But I do like these up-to-date dwarves. I've got the actual old dwarf team from 3rd edition. But let's take a look inside the Dwarf Giants Blood Bowl team. So let's take a look at the box artwork for the Dwarf Giants. You've obviously got the cool dwarf there. And like I said before, they're in a kind of blue stone. I think it's probably a turquoisey type colour paint scheme. You've got your 2 Troll Slayers. Now if it was me, to denote which Troll Slayer was which, I might do the coloured beards differently because they're both origin on here. If you're wanting to go Fire Slayery, or I would do them with different mohawks, which is what I did on my 3rd edition. I think I had a red mohawk and a yellow mohawk, so I could differentiate between the 2 for my league. But you know, you get your 2 Troll Slayers there, a lot of linemen. I think they're your blitzers, but let's take a look at the back to find out. So you've got your 2 Troll Slayers, your 2 blitzers, which I was right, is the guys holding the kind of knuckle dusters. Your runners, which look like they're holding a ball. And then you've got 3 different types of linemen, 3 different types of poses. Pretty similar to a lot of the other teams. And I was right, it's Incubi Darkness and Sotek Green that they've kind of gone with for the colour scheme. You get your transfer sheet, your double-sided dwarf tokens, and that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the Beerstein for your team and reroll counters, and you get 6 different balls in the set. So that's the box and the box art. Let's take a look inside. So straight away, you've got the instructions. So in here will be your instructions on how to put them together. They look relatively simple compared to some of the other ones. If you've seen the Pro Elf video, that's got some difficulties. This one is quite a simple set to put together. So quite good for a rookie coach, which is what I said earlier. So let's take a look at the back. On the back, you've got your dwarf team information. And you can see they come with a lot of skills. Dauntless, Frenzy, Tackle, Thick Skull, Block. They're quite a skill-heavy team for a fresh out the gates team. Relatively cheap in cost. The most expensive model being the Troll Slayers at 90,000 gold. This again is a good starting point for brand new players to the game. Gives you a immediate kind of team with a reroll and fan factor, as well as the rules. So you don't necessarily need anything to start the team up, just this set really. So that's the how to put together and the rules. Then you've also got your transfer sheet. And on this transfer sheet, you've got all your different positions, including the death roller. So if you do get a death roller later on, you can add that. It's got some dwarf runes, dwarf imagery in both black and white, as well as a horde of numbers. You get your 12 bases and then your 2 sprues. Now, as with all the sort of Blood Bowl teams we've seen up to date, these almost look like a push fit set, dare I say it. I would probably still use glue. And you of course get your Beerstein, your coin tokens, but let's take a closer look at one sprue because they are identical. So let's look at this half first. You've got your Beerstein and your coin, and then you've got various different bodies. These are almost push fit. You can see the push fit sections and the little pegs. I'd still use glue. I've used some glue on my Underworld stuff, and it does sort of pay off for them not to fall apart. But I don't think these are billed as a push fit set particularly, but I would maybe still use glue. It says to use glue, so that's one half of the sprue. Look at the other half there. And you've got, obviously, there's the Blitzer body just there. Probably lineman bodies, different balls, arms. There's another Blitzer body by the look of it there. So that's the sprue as a whole. Let's flip it over so you can see some of the detail on the other side where you've got hair and beards, etc. That looks like part of the Troll Slayer there. But that's the sprue, and you get, of course, 2 of these in the set. Like I said at the start of the video, they're a great starter team because they come pretty tooled up with skills, and they're a great team for playing a one-off game with. For playing them in League, like I've said, they do tend to suffer against those faster teams. But that's the sprues, your 12 bases, your transfer sheet, and then your instructions. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing. I'll see you next time.